Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Christelle Martinette with another reading. It's a reading for the new moon. All right, the new moon, depending on where you are, the 4th and the 5th of June, so the weekend. And today here, I'm reading on the 2nd of June. This is a national holiday. It's Festa della Repubblica, so I'll put a little plug in for the Italian holiday. It's a holiday that commemorates the signing in every June 2nd of a referendum, the signing of a referendum that was put out there to decide the form of government, the form of the state, what the state should, how it should organize as, and the Republic was born. So I know that in the United States there was Memorial Day on Monday with an extended weekend, and we're having one starting today over until Sunday. And Sunday's coming round, and I also put out a video on my other YouTube channel, Mystic Scrying Medium Christelle, and I scryed for the new moon on the weekend. And it was interesting, that reading. Here I have the Voodoo Tarot, I have the Teia Tarot, which is quite different from the normal, from the universal decks, and the Sibila and my runes. So let's see what this, and welcome new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Old subscribers, thank you for being here, and thank you everyone for making it possible for me to have the live event. And I will be doing it again in 10 days. Next, not this Sunday, the next Sunday at 11 p.m. Central European Time. There's a little tiny video out there that tells you that, so look for that. And this time I hope I don't mess it up, and I'll try to make it possible for us to have the chat window open. I can get your questions. Now, let's see what's in store for us with this new moon. Let's see what's in store for us with this new moon, June 4th and 5th. Those of you who are psychic are going to have a field day, the new moon, because the download of messages will be so strong and plentiful. And as I said in my other video on the scrying channel, you really need to tune in, because the messages are going to be there this weekend. This weekend will be announcing something that will occur later on down the line for the full moon. And here I have an exchange. There's an exchange. It's as if you will give willingly if you are sure that you will get in return. And you're thinking along the lines of, okay, your activity, your livelihood, but this runs the gamut of all of the types of activities, especially interpersonal activity, interpersonal relations. You will give anything knowing that you will receive everything. You're willing this time again to be open to an exchange. And I see a lot of you sitting there, and really, a lot of people don't have an altar. This is typically an altar, but a lot of you do. And I used to have an altar when I was a child. So when I was, right next to my bed, I had all these things, and everybody thought I was nuts in the family. But what I'm seeing here is fervent energy, strong, fervent energy that is controlled, and that, it's almost as if the four signs are here, the four elements are here, but it's almost as if I cannot distinguish one from the other because of the harmony that's linking them. They're interacting, and the message that emerges here is that there is something to be gained from psychic abilities that you have. Use your intuition this weekend, because you're going to get messages that will help you towards the end of the month of June. I'm getting that again. Do not put your mind on hold. Don't let your mind go out for a vacation. We need the head. Maybe if you if you're self-sabotaging, yes, send it out off on vacation, but here is a moment when we need to be calm because we're going to be able to understand a lot. Now, I talked about an exchange at the beginning. And here, the exchange has to do, of course, those of you who are working, you're thinking of, I'll give you this if you give me that. How about if we negotiate that? What if we negotiate that? Okay. Now, that is true, and it's very easy to talk about an exchange on a level of work, livelihood. But here I'm seeing an exchange of something that also has to do with friendship. And naturally people think, okay, I'll give you an example. An old friend of mine calls me, and I'm, the first thing I think of, what does that person want if they're contacting me? So I haven't, let's say, I don't have an open attitude, but a sort of closed attitude with respect to that person, because out of the blue, where were they when I needed them? Why weren't they near me then? So you'll start doing that. But the attitude here that I'm seeing, the exchange is, hi, John. It's so good to hear from you. What can we do? What can I do for you? The openness. And it's the exchange. Okay, look, I'm really in a bind. I have my, my wife has gone out of the country, and I'm here with my child, but I need a half hour because I have to deliver this to my dad, who's ill. Can you stay with my child? Okay, fine, sure. And then we'll go out for a drink, and then I'll bring home a couple of beers. So there's that exchange. There's the notion starting from exchange. The communication starts with the idea of exchanging goods, exchanging information, exchanging communication. Okay, and this is what I'm seeing for the new moon. But also, there will be something in the exchange of that information. Something in the download of psychic information that you receive, those of you who are able to tune in, that will announce something else that will occur further on down the line. I'm talking 21 days. This is the number that comes up, 21 days. Give or take, give or take. This is the Atea Tower. This is the Atea Tower. Atea Tower. Tarot, and it's advertised as the oldest deck in the world, before the Marseille deck. Now, this doesn't have major or minor arcana. It has 78 cards with numbers on it, so they're all different. Difficult deck to read, as they say. Difficult deck to plumb. Difficult deck. Oh Lord. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sirree, Bob. Look, what is that? That we're going to get wind of. What is that? It's going to be. It definitely is a beginning this weekend. The new moon is a weekend where things start, even behind the scenes, to begin. And what do we have? I don't have to tell you the card's name. All I have to do is show you. By anybody's judgment there, that's the Fool card. That is the function of the 78. You can see the number 78. And the Fool is usually 0, all right? And what do I have after that? Love. 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups here, that is a, par excellence is the card of love. Also, each of these cards has the downside of the card. One way they read one way, and another way they read another way. So in the mist, in the context of other cards, I can read them as negative or positive. Now here, I'm seeing the exchange of goods as the beginning of something new. Because with this relationship, I really am going to cut my head off and put it out, send it on vacation, and not want to think it out. I don't want to overthink. I want to feel, I want to have, and I want to be with you, okay? This is what you're thinking. Now, there's also, right next to that, is this card, which is a lover's card. Very interesting. It is a lover's card. And so we have really the fire that I talked about in the Voodoo Tarot. You know, there are all of the elements, and there are here whereas here there are there are pentacles and cups here. Cup and 3 pentacles, but here we have all of the elements, and remember I mentioned that they all sort of combined, and there's a harmony where you can't even tell the difference between one element and the other. What is that? That's harmony. That's love. Now, it's right under this lover's card is right under the fiery passion that Dambalala Flambeau has and suggests and burns. You know, it's like the Ace of Wands. And there's definitely is something in the works that will spark your fire. Will, you know, come on, baby, light my fire. This is going to happen. Even if it's behind the scenes, even if you don't hear from that person is there. That person is with you. That person is planning for a future with you. Okay, we have this 69 card, really realization. Look at that. The realization that it's like you say it's a 9 of Pentacles, but this is an actual, typical, similar to a Wands card, a very active card, a very energetic card, a very fiery card, the 69 of this deck. And then we have a warning, right? We have a warning. The exit card is the warning, as if, usually, oftentimes when I read, I'm talking about my readings. The last card I call the exit card because it's leaving, and the entrance card is something coming in. So we have this exchange, and what is leaving is false love. Now, on top of that, we have the means by which false love is moving. It's going, it's gone, it's overseas somewhere, it's in another world. The false love is no more. Okay, we have something here that is truly the beginning. All right, I'm not talking about those of you, even if you're with somebody for 30 years, you have been with them for 30 years. There's something here that's new. There's something here. There's a new flame here. A new flame with that same person. Something's going to spark up. I'm going to take some of the Sibila here. It's new flames, gang. This is a new fire. A new fire. A new fire. New moon with a new fire. That's what I'm going to call the video. New moon with a new fire. I hope I remember that when I process the video. All right, I'm going to take here the first card, this 78, which is the last card, the Fool card, and get some more information. So speedy, right? So speedy, finally. All right, this is interesting because we have so speedy. This is waiting, the torment of not knowing and just waiting. You're waiting for the ship to come in. Well, the ship then finally does come in, okay? Because here we have the old lady, La Vecchia Signora, that speaks to change. And then we have Disgrazia, the disaster. Now, as I said, I'm reading this as, well, not as I said in a video 10 videos ago, this house on fire, this disaster, stars that are split, that are bombarded, that are exploded star. Something has occurred that has rocked your world, and you have no choice. You always have a choice, but let me say this. You have no choice but to face the music and look at yourself and see what happens. Why are you still waiting? Why are you still waiting? And the answer is going to come this weekend with the new moon for you. I'm going to look at this 69 card, this realization, to see what's up. All right. People are going to get off their behind and start moving, communicating. There is the doctor, the arrogant jurist, scientist, the arrogant. Okay, this is a person who takes care of people who are ill. And together, this is a this is an adult who is constantly taking care of their personal depression, their personal slight sadness, their deep sadness, their what they consider their negative side, their shadow side. This is a concentration on your shadow side. And being able to come to grips with that shadow side. Okay, this is part of me, let me accept it. This is part of me, let me give that to her. Let me give that to him. This is me. The communication comes in. That's the realization. Okay, I'm going to look at this false love, the exit card. The exit card. Yes, yes, yes. False love no more. We have fidelity, fedeltà. We have the artista, the letterato, and conversation, conversazione. This is something that is pondered. This is a love, a person who's involved with you. This is not you. It could be you. Wait a minute, I stand corrected. It could be you that are thinking, no matter where I go, what I do, or who I meet, I'm still thinking of that woman. I'm still thinking of that man. That woman makes me happy. That woman makes me smile. That man really knocks my socks off, you know? And the conversation is it's an internal dialogue, monologo interiore, internal monologue, I guess. And it's time to take off my mask. That's what the false love is, take off my mask and cantare, and I need to sing. In Italian we use the word to sing. When like mafia turncoats, they sing, cantano, and it's time for you to sing. All right, now I'm going to take the runes to see what they can add to this. I already forgot how I have to call the video, so it's not going to be in the as a title. I already forgot. Let's see. Nothing has fallen on the ground. Nothing has fallen on the ground. Two things, one on top of another. Fehu and Björk, one on top of another, facing each other. All right. There's you're thinking about, or you know that it's high time that you make decisions concerning a loved one and concerning your loved life and your emotional life, whatever form that takes. Do I leave this person? This is not how I feel, this is not me in this relationship. Or I need to embrace that person because that person will make me come into my own. They make me feel me, okay? It's time you really understand that it's time for you to show your emotions and to speak your truth. And what's interesting is that you're in a moment, there are a couple of things, so let me go in order, all right? And know that the runes are telling me that you're right in thinking that this is the time, even if this is taking a decision and then it comes out in the full moon, but you're right in thinking that because it is high time. You are protected. You are protected with the timing if you desire to make a move. All right, now, there are two very interesting rune combinations. I have Fehu, bright stave, and Björk, murk stave. And Björk has to be murk stave in order to face Fehu, so I'm calling it as a one message, all right? It's a message of a new beginning. If you couch this moment, if you decide that this moment is the moment where you will begin, you're going to communicate with that person. You're going to start giving your love. You're going to start really coming into your own, being faithful to yourself, really. It's being faithful to yourself. Then you'll find that abundance is yours. There'll be a very, very marked change in the way things happen to you very marked from a negative to a positive, from a slightly ill to an extremely happy human being, to be moody and then to be elated, the opposite, the direct opposite. Then I have, quite interestingly, two runes. This is Otala and Ing. Otala is Merkstave, and together pairing, they're conversing. I see that many of you are thinking about going and changing residence, and what you're not sure about is, in this period, what you're not sure about is, you're sure that you want to change. You really do want to change. And the house, the place where you live is one of the ideas. Of course, not everybody who's listening to me is going to change house, but you do think of change, and your residence has crossed your mind, But I see that as being only successful when you pair up with the person that is on your back burner. How can I say? You have entertained, for a long time, you've entertained the idea of possibly getting together with that person. And wouldn't it be nice? I know we would be successful because, okay, I'll give you an example, right? She is so jealous. He is so jealous. Every time they see each other, they have a rip-roaring, wonderful time. They talk about the stars, about the moon, about religion, about everything. They eat up a storm. They just like the same foods and really enjoy their wine and everything. And then they don't see each other forever, either because one doesn't dare and the other one doesn't dare, or maybe he's busy, maybe she is, I don't want to bother. And then what happens inevitably is that both of you become extremely jealous because you're not knowing what the other person thinks, what the other person feels, whereas on the surface, what you really are doing is you don't want to trespass, you don't want to go beyond your boundaries, you don't want to, not beyond your boundaries, you don't want to cross any boundaries, you just want to have the timing right. Well, these runes are telling me that perhaps the best organization for you both, because being apart really is detrimental to your health, is being together. And being together will solve many different problems. One, the jealousy. Okay, all right, I'll say it's control. We want to control. You're living together. I can see you, you can see me. Okay, fine. We can say that's an element of control, whereas we should be walking both one side by side on our own 2 feet. I understand, but I'm giving you an example. But being together gives you comfort, gives you, you can decide, all right, let's take one whole day. You go your way, I'll go to my relatives, you go to your relatives, I'll go see my sister, you go see your brother, that kind of thing. It's negotiated. But the way and the rules you give yourself, and the rules of the road that you ultimately decide upon with another person who's important to you. And again, I know not everyone out there is paired, but these messages may ring a bell in some way. What they're saying is that it might be a good idea, and you might want to talk about it, that we should come closer together. Let's give ourselves rules and regulations, because we're two different people and we don't know each other fully well, but we're still here. We're still here. After so many terrible things we've said to each other, after so many horrible months that we didn't see each other, and we thought that we would never see each other, but we're still here. Let's think perhaps maybe it'd be worth our while to, so you're going through these ideas. And Othello, Merkstave, and Ing, that doesn't have, Ing is always Ing is Ing is Ing, does talk of success in that respect. Turning your idea around from being alone, single, creative, individuality, and all of that, turning it around. Could we work as individuals together? Would that work? Could we stay in the same house without killing ourselves? What should we do? Do we need 2 separate bedrooms? Do we need 3? Do we need 2 single rooms and a master bedroom so we can just, make dates with each other? Do we need 2 bathrooms? Could we have 1 bathroom with 2, basins, with 2, how could we organize our time? Is it best to stay apart? These are all questions that are going to come up this weekend because of the subtle messages you will receive, ladies and gentlemen, because the moon is very fertile, this 4th and 5th, that intuition and that psychic ability is going to have a field day. That's how I started. And I still can't remember the title I wanted to give this video. It doesn't matter. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. It was a pleasure to read with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Ladies and gentlemen, new subscribers, welcome. And I appreciate your likes, shares, and your subscriptions. Namaste. Bye-bye till we read again.